Good evening and welcome to Newsbite. I'm August Graham and making the headlines this week. 2 airplanes on St Helena. The police received new tasers, the sandwich bar opens their new premises, and a local business is now offering ear piercings. And on top of that, of course, Damien Obey will bring you your weekly sports roundup. Now, another flight has touched down at the St Helena airport to bring new staff for Basil Reid. The plane, the same Bombardier Challenger jet that has been here several times already, touched down at just past 1 o'clock on Wednesday. The pilot put his wheels down on runway 02, the southern approach to the airstrip. But as he pulled in, he found that he wasn't alone, as another airplane was already there. The calibration flight that had arrived last week started its engines and flew off just minutes after the jet arrived. But the calibration flight landed again shortly afterwards. The police have been training officers in using tasers, a form of electronic stun gun. They're being introduced to the island as part of getting law enforcement ready for the arrival of international flights. A taser looks a little like a gun made from yellow plastic, but it is considerably less dangerous than a gun as a way for police to deal with challenging situations. When the trigger is pulled, 2 small wires shoot out up to 21 feet and attach themselves to the target, incapacitating them by sending electric shocks down the line. Chief Inspector Steve Riley caught up with me to explain a little bit more about the taser and how it will be used. Right, so Steve, I understand now we're bringing in tasers onto St Helena. First of all, could you explain what a taser is?
Okay, a taser is effectively, this is a taser, it is a device whereby electrodes are in a gun, if you like, the taser itself. It fires out of the taser into an individual, and it basically it disrupts the voluntary nerves in an individual, so things like movement of the arms and legs. It is another option for us to use on St Helena. It's been used around the world for a number of years. It is what we call a less than lethal option. So a lethal option might be something like a firearm. This just allows us to have distance between us and somebody that's potentially being violent and enables us to incapacitate them whilst causing a minimum amount of injury.
So, for instance, if I were to be misbehaving and you were to deem it necessary to use a taser on me, what would happen? What would be my reaction, essentially?
So the officers would approach you. The main benefit of a taser is that you can give a warning before you actually use the taser, and officers in their training are instructed to do this. So they can basically pull the trigger. It forms an electrical circuit across here so you can hear the sound of a taser. And it allows officers to use their main tool in their toolkit, which is to use their communication skills. If I was to approach you without a taser and you being violent, I'd be reliant on using my asp or my spray or potentially, my hands to restrain you. What this allows us to do is de-escalate the situation, because a taser is effective up to about 21 feet. So I could talk to you from distance and I could try and calm the situation down without actually having to use the taser in the first place or close that gap. As I say, it is an option for us, but it doesn't mean that officers are going to be walking around the streets in St Helena carrying tasers. They will be locked away in a safe, and the only time we'll use a taser is when we're going to an incident that has got a threat of high level of violence, and even then they need an authorisation from a senior officer to carry the taser.
As the Jamestown market slowly opens its doors after refurbishment, businesses have been welcoming customers. One of the new enterprises that has set up is the Sandwich Bar. Hannah Durnford has more on the story.
The tills were busy on Friday morning at the Sandwich Bar. This may seem normal, but there was nothing normal about it. The till was new, the bench it stood on was new, the whole room was new. Brand new cupboards were installed by local contractors, although the worktops were brought from abroad. The Sandwich Bar has expanded into new premises in the market.
Right, so Derek, we're now in the market where you set up a new branch of the Sandwich Bar. Could you tell us why you decided to do that?
Well, we just took the opportunity. I mean, we've been running the Sandwich Bar in Lower Jamestown for a while in the Association Hall. It's been successful, but we've looked at our customer base, and whilst we pick up a lot of people in the lower part of town, in the central part of town, people get half an hour for lunch. And the St. Helena thing is, let's get our bread, do our shopping, and then all of a sudden it's too late to go and get a lunch. So I thought if they didn't come to us, we'd go to them. So basically it's taking the opportunity, coming here and being able to offer them that service.
The old sandwich bar will stay open, although the menus are currently identical in both outlets. Derek and his wife Linda hope to change it soon.
So is it the same service as you've been offering before then?
At the moment, yes. Our menus today are identical. We hope to change it, but that's pending availability of product like yogurts, like cereals and this sort of thing. So fresh fruit when you can get it. Ideally, we'd like to have like a nice little continental breakfast outside and that sort of thing. We're looking at sort of some evening functions. We'll have a curry evening, we'll have a pizza evening. We're surrounded by 2 pubs next door. We want to be available to them as well. So yeah, we're looking at making it a little different in the future.
Now, for years, if you wanted your ears pierced on the island, you would have to make an appointment at the hospital. But now we've learnt that the HIVE in Jamestown are also offering the same service. Tara Wortley from the Rose and Crown told us about how the idea came about.
Well, it started because during the school holidays in February, I wanted to get my nephew's ears pierced as part of his birthday present, and it just became a bit of a logistical arrangement trying to get it organised with the hospital, who themselves said that they wanted to move away from doing ear piercing. So I saw it as an opportunity for the HIVE as one of the local jewels on the island to offer. So we registered with Kaflan, who is a UK certified ear piercing company, and we had one of our staff members, Christine, in the HIVE get their online training to get a diploma as one of their piercing specialists, and she's now here offering our ear piercing service. So you can either get it as 9-carat gold piercings, or you can have titanium, which is for people who might be allergic to either cobalt or nickel. Prices start from £10, so for a single piercing for the boys potentially, they can get a titanium single piercing for £10, and then the price goes up from there. For ladies who want to get a 9-carat gold double piercing, that's £20, and the cost includes the earrings, the piercing service, as well as the aftercare solution for whilst the healing takes place.
Right, now here is Damien O'Bey with your latest sports roundup.
In ladies volleyball, Jamestown B defeated Alarm Forest in straight sets, 25-18 and 25-10. Sophie Peters was lady of the match. In the second match, St. Paul's were victorious over Jamestown A. Anthea Joshua was lady of the match as St. Paul's won in straight sets. They won the first 25-7 and the second 25-10. In golf, Lawson Henry and Gavin Crowley combined to score 46 points in the Texas Scramble. Brian Coleman and Larry Lake were second on 41 points. Now, football. Despite showers, all scheduled football matches went ahead over the weekend. Chop Shop Boys remained unbeaten after the majority of first round of league fixtures were completed. Hotshots cruised to a 3-1 victory against Fuji's in the first match of the weekend. Their striker, Scott Crowley, netted a brace to take his season tally to 7, while Alistair Buckley joined him on the score sheet for the second week running. Mark Williams scored a consolation goal for Fuji's. Ricardo Williams picked up the Man of the Match award, and Weston Clingham was Young Player of the Match for the 5th time this season. After a 2-week absence from the league, Rovers returned to complete a 3-0 victory against Axis. The match was goalless for the entire first half, but Brian Sim netted a classy goal early in the second. An Axis own goal increased Rovers' lead, and Rico Benjamin struck a third to seal the points. Hearts and Wolves battled rain and mud in the early match on Sunday. Hearts were eventual 4-1 winners. Ryan George and Clayton Thomas added a goal each, while Hearts captain Maggie Williams scored a brace. Kanyeli found the back of the net for a consolation goal for Wolves. The young defender Brandon Harris scooped both the Man of the Match award and the Young Player of the Match award. Refugees and Crusaders shared the points after scoring 2 goals apiece in their bottom of the league clash. Man of the Match Sanjay Clingham and Ashley Furness scored for Refugees, whilst Leon Yan and Anthony Constantine scored for Crusaders. In the final match of the weekend, Chop Shop Boys hung on to complete a 3-2 victory against Bellboys. Kevin Hudson netted a brace, and Jamie Alec produced a delectable chip to score for Chop Shop Boys. Andrew Yan and Wayne Crowley got goals back for Bellboys. So far in 2016, a total of 239 goals have been scored. 15 yellow and 3 red cards have been issued, and Chop Shop Boys lead the way after the first round. They've opened up a 6-point gap from their nearest rivals, defending champions Hearts. Callum Alec from Bell Boys has had an outstanding first round, picking up 8 Young Player of the Match awards from 9 games. In the race for Player of the Season, Gregory Phillips from Wolves, Paul Anwell from Axis, and Sanjay Klingham from Refugees have all scooped Man of the Match honours 3 times. Chop Shop Boys' Kevin Hudson is the league's leading goal scorer, having netted 16 times.
Thank you, Damon. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's Newsbite. Do tune in again next week for more top stories from the island. I'm August Graham, and thank you very much for watching us.